Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Chef Vic Cuisine. Today, we're making apple turnovers. Now this is a great option for breakfast or dessert, but this recipe is simply delicious with hints of sweet and sour notes, and I'm sure once you make it at home, it'll be a sure hit with you and your family. So, let's get started. Alright, so jumping right into this recipe, we're going to need 2 apples. I like using a sour and a sweet apple. So I'm going to start off with using 1 Granny Smith apple that we're going to peel, core, and finely dice. And what makes it really easy if you have it available to you is a KitchenAid add-on that cores your apples and slices it for you. It saves so much time. I highly recommend it. This isn't sponsored. It's just a really great product, and I think you all should invest in one. But once you have your Granny Smith apple diced, you want to also peel, core, and dice 1 Honeycrisp apple. So the slicer I have creates thin discs of the apple, and if yours doesn't chop it further, you want to take a sharp knife and dice up those slices into fine pieces. I like using a Granny Smith or a Honeycrisp apple because they'll hold their shape and provide a delightful contrast to the sweet pastry. Now, in a medium-sized pot set over medium heat or 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius, we want to add in all of our diced apples, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, optionally 1 teaspoon of cornstarch for a thicker texture in your filling, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, an 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/2 cup of granulated white sugar. Mixing all these ingredients together until they're well combined. Adding these spices will add warmth and depth of flavor to your turnovers. You now want to add in a 1/4 cup's worth of chopped pecans into the pot and mix those in to the rest of the ingredients. You want to whisk this constantly for the first 5 minutes. Then turn the stovetop to low heat or 225 degrees Fahrenheit or 107 degrees Celsius and simmer this for an additional 5 minutes. And after that time is up, you want to remove it from the heat and allow the apples to cool for about 20 minutes. Now for this recipe, we're going to use store-bought puff pastry for convenience and guaranteed flakiness. There's no real need to stress about making your own pastry dough from scratch. Just make sure you thaw out the puff pastry according to package instructions. You're going to need 2 sheets of frozen puff pastry thawed out. So now you want to unroll the puff pastry onto a clean, flat surface. And you want to use a dough cutter and cut both sheets into 4 equal squares. You now want to brush melted butter onto each square. In total, you're going to need about a 1/4 cup's worth of unsalted butter that's been melted. We're now going to spoon 2 to 3 tablespoons worth of the cooked apple mixture onto the center of each square. Any more than that and our apple turnovers might explode in the oven. You then want to fold the squares over the mix to create triangles and then crimp the edges of the triangle with the fork. You can also experiment with different shapes like rectangles for a fun presentation. Now in a small bowl, you want to beat 1 large egg thoroughly to create an egg wash. And we're going to lightly brush each apple turnover with the egg wash. This helps give our turnovers a shiny golden finish once they finish baking. For final touches, we want to cut 3 small lines into the top of the turnovers to create vents for the apple mix. This will help prevent our pastries from becoming soggy. In a preheated oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 degrees Celsius, we want to place the apple turnovers on a tray onto the lower third portion of your oven and bake those for 20 minutes, flipping the tray halfway through the baking. After that time's up, we want to remove the turnovers from the oven and drizzle about 1/2 cup's worth of salted caramel syrup over each turnover. And with that final step, these turnovers are ready to be served hot and enjoyed. And just like that, you've made apple turnovers right at home. Try using your favorite apples for your turnovers for a taste better suited to you. When serving your apple turnovers, you can add a final touch of pizzazz. You can sprinkle them with powdered sugar, drizzle them with glaze, or even pair them with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. This dish is great for breakfast and or dessert. And when you try this recipe at home, be sure to tag me at Chef Vic Cuisine or hashtag Chef Vic Cuisine so I can see your great takes on this dish. As always, this recipe and many more can be found in my cookbook, Chef Vic Cuisine Volume 3, Upgrading Your Inner Chef. And that's available on Amazon, and I'll be sure to leave a link to that in my description box. Or you can feel free to click the pop-up on the screen for more information on that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, don't forget to smash that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Victor, and welcome to Chef Vic Cuisine. I like to share delicious recipes each and every week that you can make for you, your family, or your friends. So if that sounds interesting to you, hit that subscribe button too. And sharing is caring, so if you enjoy this recipe and think someone else will too, feel free to share this with all your family and friends. And stay tuned for next week where I show you how to make one amazing appetizer or side dish, my loaded potato. Really easy to make, and it's gone before you know it. Well, thank you all again so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. By subscribing to the channel, you'll be supporting me, allowing me to continue creating content that you love. You can always check out my recipes on my page now. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so let's see if they're right. And I'll catch you next time on another episode of Chef Vic Cuisine. And until then, peace.